Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome back to Dual Sport. Today I've got some exciting news. I got myself a new bike. The R7, it's gone. Decided to get back into the four-cylinder world and I picked up this 2016 Yamaha R6 right behind me. Thing only has 3,000 miles on it. It's in mint condition, and I love this bike. Absolutely love it. I've done a few modifications to it already, and I've got a list of things that I want to do to it, and we're going to talk about those things. We're going to do a little bit of a walk around, and then I'm going to take it for a ride. So thanks everybody for subscribing to the channel. If you have any questions, go ahead and comment down below. Leave me a like on this video, and of course, please subscribe to the channel. Really appreciate all the help. Without further ado, let's get into it. My new 2016 Yamaha R6. Here we go. Everybody, check this thing out. A couple of quick bits on this bike. I got this thing bone stock and I've done a few modifications so far. Got a few on the way as well. First thing I did obviously was get rid of the rear fender on this guy. I've got I did a video on this as well already, and I've got a link to it right up above there. If you just click on that, you can see it. But I did the Competition Works fender eliminator or integrated tail light, so the turn signals are in the tail light, and then just a quick little license plate frame from PSR. I also got rid of these rear pegs, the rear sets, so it's got a nice space in between there. Very sleek look. I also updated the exhaust right away to the Yoshimura AT2. Now this is a slip-on, and I'm probably going to go full system after having that slip-on for just a minute, which is okay. I'm okay to wait for it, but yeah, definitely I think it'll be better with that slip-on, or with the full exhaust rather than the slip-on. A few other bits that I've done already is I removed the front turn signals. They've had these huge orange gaudy front turn signals, and I went with a flush mount, an LED flush mount, which looks really good on this bike. I'm also going to install some frame sliders, which I ordered some already. However, they did not work out. They weren't the right kind, so I got to return them and get them back. Otherwise, really like the sleekness of the front, the flush mounted front turn signals. You can see very sleek, but they're still very bright as well. I also removed that fuel or that warning sticker from behind the fuel tank, and I went with a One Design padded tank sticker to help protect the paint. I really like this wider one. Has a nice look about it. Alright, so one of the things I really enjoy about this bike is that it is a four-cylinder bike. Now, a little bit more gas hungry, however the power delivery is a lot better compared to the R7. The R7 is a twin cylinder bike, so a little better on gas, however not as much power, and not that I really need more power, but I really enjoy having the power when it's there and when I want it. You definitely get that from the R6 versus the R7. The R7 does have its benefits, which I'm going to talk about in a future video coming up, but for now, I love this thing. Alright, so the tires when I got this bike were original back from 2016, so I decided to upgrade the tires for my safety. They looked like they could use it, even though the tread wasn't too bad. I went with the Michelin Pilot Power 2CT tire, which was recommended to me by our lead mechanic at Wenatchee Power Sports. They make a more expensive tire. Michelin does the Road GT5 or Road GT6. However, I went with my tech's recommendation, and I absolutely love these tires. They're fantastic. Also, I am going to go ahead and raise up these bars 2 inches with the Woodcraft clip-ons that I had on the R7. I've taken them off. And this week we're going to go ahead and put those on. I'll be releasing a video on that. I also have to replace the brake lines when you do that, so I ordered some 2-inch long brake lines, braided brake lines from Core Moto, front and rear. So we'll be having the front and this rear brake line right here. This one's going to be replaced with a nice braided brake line, which perform a little bit better. All in all, really love this bike. Loving the power of it. We're going to take it for a little test drive, and so you guys can hear this and kind of get behind the rider's seat, if you will. So thank you guys for tuning in. If you like this video, go ahead and like it, and give me a quick follow. Also leave a comment if you have any comments on this bike. But let's go ahead and let's get our gear on and let's take it for a ride. All right, everybody, we are ready. The sun's come out and it's about time to go for a little test ride on my new Yamaha R6. Here we go. So I guess we'll start off with a little backstory on this bike. I was fairly content with the R7, but you know, every once in a while I'm like, well, I wish I had a little bit more. Wish kind of missed the 4-cylinder on occasion, so started scrolling through Cycle Trader, and sure enough, I plugged in a bike that I have always been interested in, which is the R6, and the first thing that popped up was this beauty right here, and I was like, oh sweet, and it was affordable. And then I looked closer, and it was in Sacramento, California, and I'm way up here in Washington State. So I was like, oh, well, that kind of sucks. But I decided to go with my instincts and give them a call. And the sales guy actually owned this bike. He bought it from someone in Southern California, and he bought it with the intention of flipping it, basically, and he had it on consignment there at the dealership. Well, this thing only had 3,000 miles on it, and it's the color that I like. So I got talking with him, and he said, well, I've had a few bites on this thing, but nobody's pulled the trigger. So we kind of had some back and forth, and we FaceTimed each other just to make sure we were both legit. And I FaceTimed him from my work, Wenatchee Power Sports, and he FaceTimed me from his work, which is D&D Motorsports in just out of Sacramento. By the way, this guy's name's Ben Moore. If you need a bike of any variety and you're in the California area, I highly recommend this fine young gentleman, because he said he would not only sell a bike to me and made it work, but he loaded it up in the back of his pickup truck and he drove it all the way to Washington State. He left at like 4 o'clock in the morning and was at my work at about 5:30 to 6 p.m. So he pretty much went non-stop, drove it all the way up to me for a small fee, of course, but I thought it was well worth it. And the rest is history. I've got the R7 up for sale. It's on consignment right now. And been putting some effort into this bike. Aside from the fender eliminator that we talked about earlier, I recently upgraded the stock air filter to a K&N high flow air filter, which I'll include a link right above. You can click on that and check out that video. I also put on some frame sliders from Vortex, the Vortex frame sliders on this guy, and definitely like the response of the bike. It definitely opened up with the K&N filter, which I'm pretty stoked about. Now we're gonna go up a little canyon here, give you guys a little test ride of the feel of this Yamaha R6. And I'm gonna stop talking for a while, and you guys can enjoy the ride. So here we go. Oh, and before I open it up a little bit, they did some chip sealing up here recently, so I'm not going to be able to get after it too much, but I'll be able to go after a little bit here just to give you a taste. So here we go. There's 100. And now it looks like I'll kind of behind this truck for a little bit. So that's a little taste of the new Yamaha R6 2016. And really want to thank everybody for tuning in to the channel and subscribing. If you got any questions, go ahead and leave me some comments down below.